I'm here with art culture Gail Wild, and Gail is making beautiful snowflake art. I love this stuff, Gail. So how do we get started?
So the first thing we're going to start with is cutting some snowflakes out of this satin material on the electronic cutting device. So I'm going to get started with that. And while that's going, we're going to put some snowflakes on here with water-based resist. Now this is going to keep the paint from going onto the silk. I like the look of the plain white silk. So we're going to load this silk screen with some resist.
And you're using a fancy tool.
This is the lovely squeegee. And now we have the snowflake imprint on there.
No, you're using a screen print, but a screen of some kind. But you can also make screens with an electronic cutter, with scissors and an X-Acto knife. You can find a lot of ways to do it.
Absolutely. Stencils, anything you want to work with that. As a matter of fact, Julie, you can use a rubber stamp as well to get some detail. So you just put your same resist on there and your rubber stamp, and then look, you can add snowflakes all over.
For anybody who doesn't know what a resist is, will you talk a little bit about what that does?
Yes, so this is a washable water-based resist. It blocks the fabric from accepting the paint. So you paint over it and the fabric stays white. And then you wash it out and it leaves you with that wonderful silk feeling. So we're gonna let this dry, and you can see I have a template underneath it to know where I wanna put my snowflakes. Next, we're going to start painting. And again, a template really helps to know where that's going.
And you know what, while you're painting and getting everything that you need, I'm going to go ahead and take the snowflakes off the mat for you.
Oh, fabulous, Julie. Thank you for
I
your
had
help.
an assistant at home
right?
who would do all this stuff for me,
elf.
right?
You are a fabulous art elf. So what I like to do when I'm painting is think about where do I want my light coming in. And in this one, what I'm looking for is to have this pool of light, and then, of course, never enough color, maybe some of this fabulous raspberry to boot, right?
Ooh, it looks, I love the way that the sort of watercolory pooling together, melding together, you really get that feeling of just wicking through that fabric.
Yes, and the best thing about silk paint is that we want to let it work on its own. This is what it does. So we let that just, oh, you know what? I'm going to cover these snowflakes because, you know, our resist works, but we want those snowflakes white. So I'm just going to cover those up.
So I was going to say, that's actually kind of another resist. You're doing a paper towel resist.
Yes.
Because there's so many different supplies that you can use to really create a resist when you need to.
Exactly.
So
Julie.
I finished peeling these snowflakes off, and I know you had a couple other that you had pre-cut, so I'm just going to stash them away until we need them later.
Fabulous. Thank you, Julie. Now we can already see this paint starting to move, but you know what? We need more color. So
how do you pick your colors, Gail?
You know, for me, I love the jewel tones, Julie. That's where I live. And these colors are, you can see the blues and purples, analogous colors, so they blend together great. Look at how these just melt together. And I'm adding an abundance of paint here, but you can see I'm not scrubbing. I'm just putting the color on the silk.
So it looks to me like you're particularly focusing around the resist snowflakes more than any other area, with some deeper, more intense color.
Yes, that's very accurate, Julie. And if our brush is a little bit drier, then we can actually dry brush over this and
you're
pick
getting all
up
the
detail from that.
Now, why do you not want to use a really wet brush for that?
Because if you color your resist, then you're going to get colored silk. We love the resist because it keeps the silk white. And as we all know, snowflakes, yes, they are white.
So it's resist, but it doesn't resist necessarily totally, right? You're getting a little bit of a tint.
Exactly. And you can use that to your advantage. Like we'll see the edges of those work like that, you know, so we get some different colors. Now, here's an interesting thing that works with silk and silk paint. This is salt, and it's going to move this color around. So we've seen what the blending does. Now, let's see what happens as this silk works.
So how long are you going to have to let that salt sit on there? And I'll scooch this out of the way for you.
So what happens is the salt starts working, and we'll see it moving that around. And what we want to do is catch it when we like it the best.
So is this salt? That's the result of salt?
So this one is not so long with the salt, not so much salt. I didn't put a lot of salt on this one. This one got a boatload of salt. So it went crazy, and I love it.
An official measurement, a boatload.
And each one is different. You know, snowflakes are different, we're different, each picture is different. Now, you know I'm a fan of the template. I like to know where my hand is going. So this is my template for this metallic paint pen.
So when you say a template, are you going to trace it, or does it just mean it's like your practice piece that you're kind of eyeing?
It just means, you know, okay, so that's what I want. So I'm just going to
You're practicing the motion, which gestural painters often talk about as your whole body gets into painting. And if you can get the gesture of it, you can do it every time.
Exactly. It's somewhat like muscle memory.
Oh, yeah, I totally see that.
And it's also a little bit about courage, because, you know, we're just going to throw paint on here. Yes, yes,
I always think that painting is more forgiving than people think, because you can always add, take away, you know, change it up. And also part of making art, I think, is letting go of your preconceived conceptions of how it's supposed to be.
Exactly, because you can see we've done this 3 times, 4 times here, and every one is different.
Okay, Gail, I have to confess to you, I'm getting overly excited because I have just looked down at this salted piece and I can start to see those incredible striations, the wicking that is happening from the salt, and that was really, really fast.
Isn't that fun, Julie?
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's super cool. And now how do we incorporate the small snowflakes that we've cut out of satin?
Well, you know, at home, I'm a quilter, as you can see, and so I would sew them on, but I'm also a big fan of let's just get her
and
done.
Easy. Let's use some fabric glue and get it on there.
So let's glue these on here. So I've cut different shapes here. These are some stars.
Now, one of the things that's so nice about satin is that it's shiny.
Yes.
As opposed to like regular quilting cotton or muslin or something like that.
Right?
It's really, and it gives you that sort of glistening effect that snowflakes have. So it's such a wonderful choice.
It is. And you can dimensionalize these. You know, if you sew these on down the middle, then you're going to get snowflakes with edges, and we're gluing this one down, so we're going to get a different look.
I've been known to use some of this like paint as glue.
Yes,
yes,
that works too. And I mean, layering is never ending, right? We could just go all night here.
You know that I would like to add a million layers at all times, constantly.
Yes. Oh,
that's so cool. And if I look at the finished snowflake pieces, I can see what a difference all of that detail work means, especially on this gorgeous piece that's completely quilted. Gail, this has been fantastic.
Thank you, Julie. What fun.
Thank you so much.